Hey everybody, welcome back to the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and each week I bring you news and information and some cool interviews about Central Texas football. The Centex Huddle is brought to you by Fat Cow Jerky. Unlike some other jerky brands, they craft their beef jerky with 100% beef, and you can taste it. They use the lean cuts of meat, slice them into strips, and then marinate with select ingredients and a unique blend of herbs and spices that make for an incredible flavor. And talk about flavor, these guys have it. When you open a bag of Fat Cow Jerky, you get a taste of American ingenuity, perfected recipes, and a passion for making the ultimate flavored meat snacks. Fat Cow Jerky is a small business with a big heart and a love for high-quality, delicious snacks. Fat Cow Jerky is utterly perfect. Find your next favorite flavor at fatcowjerky.com. We're also brought to you by State Farm agent Corey Pack. State Farm agent Corey Pack is a proud supporter of Texas high school football and the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. For insurance on all the things that matter, you can count on Corey Pack from State Farm. I've known Corey for several years now, and I tell you, there is nobody better to handle your insurance needs. You can call or text him to receive a quote, 512-268-7225, or go online to CoreyPack.com to connect with him. And as they say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Lots of action this past week in Central Texas. A lot of playoff positions and berths are being decided. Let's first run through some of the scores. Bernie Champion down Kyle Lehman 37-14. Canyon Lake knocked off Taylor 42-24. Cedar Park easily over Leander 35-0. Crockett knocked out Northeast Early College 42-21. Cuero was all over Smithville, 61-16. Dripping Springs continues to win, 66-7 over Del Valle. Fredericksburg knocked off San Antonio Kennedy, 44-0. Geronimo Navarro, get there, 74 points over Austin Achieve, 0. Getting 17-7 over Caldwell. Granger knocked off Milano, 45-14. Flatonia took care of Weimar, 64-27. Pflugerville Hendrickson, 50. Georgetown Eastview, 8. Gerald knocked off Maynard New Tech, 50-0. Johnson City was all over Junction, 56-14. LaGrange put it on Gonzales. This one caught a couple people off guard. Not that they won, but how much they won by, 50-18. LaGrange looking good. Lake Travis bounces back after the loss to Dripping Springs. Takes care of Austin High, 55-7. Lampasas over Marble Falls, 42-20. Liberty Hill all over Bastrop, 61-7. Another 61. Lockhart put up against San Antonio Piper, 61-35. Manor over Westwood, 44-9. Medina over McDade, 64-0. Just a lot of really big scores here. New Braunfels, the Unicorns, put it on San Marcos, 38-10. And Davenport down Burnett, 42-28. Smithson Valley continues to look good. Hayes continues to slip after a really strong start. They fall to Smithson Valley, 42-13. Stony Point over McNeil in a tight one, 28-21. Regents 45, San Antonio, Texas Military Institute 7. Round Rock over Cedar Ridge 48-21. Rouse put it on Pflugerville 45-7. Universal City Randolph took care of Luling 31-20. Vandegrift over Vista Ridge 34-0. Weiss took care of Waco Hewitt Midway 49-21. And Wimberley continues to stay undefeated 31-28 over Laga Vista. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the districts in Central Texas and some of the playoff implications coming up this week. We also want to thank Grit Football Camps. They provide the opportunity for campers to interact with recruiters, athletic directors, and professional scouts to expand their chances to attend college. In fact, that is the point of Grit football camps, is to get their attendees enrolled in college. Whatever level their skills match, they've got ways and connections to help your student athlete make it to college. This camp is dedicated to expanding student athletes' recruitment knowledge and developing leadership skills. Campers will learn how to build relationships with recruiters and prepare for a life on and off the football field. Their camp will call upon the student athletes from area schools to connect them with college recruiters, athletic directors, professional coaches, and scouts that are willing to mentor each student to be successful in college and beyond. Grit football camps are held all around the country. You can check them out at gritfootballcamp.com.
Hey, football fans, Christmas is right around the corner. We have the perfect gift for your high school football fan in your life. Friday Night Legends, the board game. With Friday Night Legends, you can play the greatest high school teams of all time against each other based on their real stats. That means you can play the 1989 Odessa Permian Panthers of Friday Night Lights fame against the 2017 Mater Day team and really see who's the better team. Or what about Peyton Manning's Newman High School in New Orleans against Trevor Lawrence's Cartersville, Georgia team? There are thousands of teams in the library from all over the United States. Get your copy of Friday Night Legends at BoardGameLegends.com and be the hero of Christmas morning.
Hey, I want to start off by looking at 4A Division II District 13. This is that Wimberley district. As we've mentioned all season, Wimberley just continues to win. They're sitting at 9-0 on the season, 331 points scored, 135 given up. They are locked in to that first place district championship. Right behind them, Geronimo Navarro. They are at 3-1 in district, but they could fall as low as third place in the district because they take on Manor New Tech, a team that right now is sitting out of playoffs. But if somehow Manor New Tech could upset Geronimo Navarro, I'm not predicting it, Manor New Tech could come into that fourth spot. Navarro could fall down to third. Lago Vista and Gerald, the current number 3 and 4 teams, go against each other. So that's really just a battle for anywhere from third to missing the playoffs. Again, depending on what happens with Manor New Tech. Austin Achieve is out of the picture entirely. Very, very tough year for them. They've scored only 83 points, giving up 467. Tough year. Now let's look at 26-6A. That's the Austin Westlake District and the team that I've called a team of destiny this whole season, Dripping Springs. As you know, Westlake sits at 9-0. And it looks like they've locked up the district championship. Dripping Springs sitting one game behind them. In fact, having lost to Westlake. That's why they're sitting in second, 6-1 in district, 8-1 overall. But they play Anderson. Anderson at 2-5 is sitting out of the playoffs entirely. So you've got an interesting scenario here. They're ahead of Lake Travis right now in district play, and they've beaten Lake Travis. So that shouldn't be a problem. Lake Travis is currently number 3 in district, going up with Bowie, who's also at 5-2. They're sitting at 4th in district. But depending on how that game comes out, that's going to decide 3rd and 4th place. Westlake, as I mentioned, they play Johnson, but while this isn't important to Westlake, if Johnson can somehow get a win, they get up there with the Bowie Lake Travis folks with 5 wins. So they could be tied for whichever one of them loses. So there's an off chance Johnson could make the playoffs if they beat Westlake, but I wouldn't place any money on it. Of course, Austin High plays Del Valley, more for pride than anything else because neither one's going to the postseason. All right, let's take a look at 27-6A. Currently, Cibolo Steel sitting at number 1. They're 9-0 on the season, 4-0 in district, having taken care of everybody. They play Clemens this week, a team that is right now sitting in 5th place. So it's an outside chance, very, very, very outside chance that Clemens, if they somehow could beat Steel, could get that 4th spot. I haven't run all the numbers yet. It's very, very unlikely. New Braunfels takes on Judson. They're number 2 and 3 right now. Judson could fall as low as that 4th spot if they lose this one. San Marcos, currently sitting playoff eligible. They go up against East Central right now. They're both sitting at 1 and 3. So you've got 2 teams at 1 and 3 in district who are currently out of the playoffs, 1 in the playoffs. So it's going to be real important. Like I said, the chance of Clemens sneaking in there and grabbing one of those spots is next to nothing because they go up against a very tough Cibolo Steel squad, but a squad that can be scored on. So who knows? But East Central and San Marcos, they control their own destinies, those two, because they're both sitting at 1 and 3 in district. The winner, it has the inside track on being in the playoffs. The loser certainly will be out. All right, finally, I want to take a look at District 12-5A and D1. Smithson Valley, another team that we've followed a lot this year. 8-1 overall, but they're sitting 6-0 in district. So the teams that are currently in the playoffs are not going to change. Smithson Valley, Wagner, Canyon, and Seguin. They are 2 games ahead of the next team. So none of those teams are going out of the playoffs. Some positioning may change. And interestingly enough, those 4 teams play each other this week. So, again, one of those cases of control your own destiny. Smithson Valley playing Seguin. That's not going to matter for Smithson Valley. But it will matter for Seguin. Seguin could move up from that 4th spot. Wagner and Canyon play. They're both tied at 5-1 in district right now. So obviously the winner of that one will get that number 2 spot. The loser will be sitting at 3 or 4, depending on how Seguin does. But again, very unlikely they would fall out of 3rd place. The teams that are out of it, Hayes, again, we mentioned them early in the season. They started off so hot, and now they've lost 4 straight. Unfortunately, they're all district games. So tough district run for Hayes. They'll play Lehman for a little crosstown rivalry, which is an important game for the folks in Kyle. Not very important when it comes to playoffs because, like I said, none of them are going. Bernie Champion and MacArthur also will play each other, and it's just for pride. Lots and lots of really interesting scenarios. It always comes down this way. It comes down to the final week each and every season. And because we've moved to 4 teams making the playoffs, most every team in the district is still alive this last week, except for some of these districts that I mentioned where, they're out already. But here's the other wild card in this week's games. For the second Friday in a row, it looks like weather is going to be a factor in these games. Friday night, Saturday, Thursday, we're expecting rain. We're expecting poor weather. And that hurts passing teams. That hurts running teams. It hurts holding onto the ball. It hurts holding onto your block. It hurts on tackling. It just changes the game, which makes maybe opens the door for one of these teams that looks like they have absolutely no chance of winning to maybe get a couple lucky breaks and be in a game that perhaps on paper they shouldn't be involved in, shouldn't play a factor in the victory. But again, Mother Nature is going to stir things up a little bit. So get out there, but take your umbrella, take your poncho, drive safe, of course, and enjoy some Central Texas football. It is going to be an absolute blast. And after that comes the playoffs, and everybody, it's win or go home. As always, if you'd like us to cover your team more, maybe we're not mentioning your team enough, let us know. Call that voicemail line, 713-568-6361. Leave a message. If it's great, we'll play it out on the show. Heck, even if it's not that great, we might. If it's at all entertaining.
You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you so much for supporting Central Texas football. I also have to thank our sponsors, Fat Cow Beef Jerky, Grit Football Camps, and of course, Corey Pack State Farm Insurance. Please go out and support these companies, or at least reach out to them and thank them for bringing you the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. I'm your host, Chris Daly, reminding you, get out there and enjoy some football.